Poetry Center, bringing poetry to Paterson since 1980 at Passaic County Community College.
Our next honorable mention poet is James Hoch, and he's the author of Miscreants and Parade of Hands. His poems have appeared in Best American Poetry, Kenyon Review, Poetry Daily, Tin House, and many other publications. Originally from New Jersey, he resides in the Hudson Valley and is professor of creative writing at Ramapo College and a guest faculty at Sarah Lawrence College. Let's welcome James Hoch.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you, dear.
I've been following your life ever since I started writing poems. So it's really
a nice
an honor
thing to say. Thank you.
I'm not 30-something, but you know.
Well, honey, I'm 84, so you can't beat me at this point.
Well, let's hope not. You know, I'm really glad. I'm just glad to be here, and what an honor to read with these wonderful poets. I met Tom about 25 years ago. He came to my college. I was a first-year graduate student, and I was asked by our mutual friend, Michael Collier, to do the introduction for Tom. I've never done an introduction before. It was perhaps longer than his reading. And I don't mean that figuratively. I think it was more of an essay. I went through all his books, but it was an error that I was mocked for a number of years. But I hold it. No.
No, he was grateful.
Yeah, exactly. No, do go on. So I'm just going to read 3 poems from Last Pawn Shop in New Jersey. You know, when I came up with the title, I'm like, maybe this will get me to Paterson, you know?
And it did.
Yeah, it did, yeah. Yeah. So this poem's called Dedication. This poem, excuse me. This poem is to my son, who I worry into a misshapen form of worry. And to worry itself, how it hangs like a blanket over the head of a horse. Why do they blanket the heads of horses standing alone in a field, not seeing, their skins seeking each other's aloneness? I have no idea. I have never owned a horse, though property is no giver of ideas. Forgive me, my mother has died. I'm trying to understand, so my son understands why his father is saying nothing in the car, the yard, at the table. My mother has died. Do you know? It's like standing in a field, then it's like the field being gone. No one notices in the clumsy fog. Do you see there is no distance? She is not a thing. There are no figures for this grief. The air tastes of ground. Have you ever lost all context? The other day, walking across the room, my son looked at me like he was eyeing a sick planet. That's both sad and funny. Then put his arms around his weeping father, as if holding a planet might heal it. I want to thank him, but only have this poem, a raft made from the skins of horses. It is wrong, he feels asked to wade. His love just wants to rush out, a busted hydrant, a forever sunny day.
Beautiful.
This is the sort of the title poem, Self-Portrait, is Last Pawn Shop in New Jersey. And the idea was that I started thinking of when I had kids, and this might come to some of you, you think you're a thing, a figure in the world. And then you realize you're just this thing that people run through, sort of ransack. It's like breaking and entering, they just grab shit and leave, and it's sometimes they grab really awful things about you and run away, and you're like, be careful with that. That's called anger. And then, easy with the masculinity, can turn toxic, that sort of thing. But, so Self-Portrait is the last pawn shop in New Jersey. Lately, I have not been feeling myself. I walk around like a figure missing its ground. I see a braid of smoke, a hand passes through, and envy hands. How smoke stays on skin. The faint hairs of a cheek a hand brushes against. Used to be enough to be the blown engine of a VW outside of Durango. Whiskey we killed watching our father die. A bad painting I loved because our mother loved bad paintings. Without irony. Lead sinkers in the great bay of self. There, I'd say, strapped to the mast of a tall ship in a Turner painting, or a grip dangling from the center pole of a circus tent, above a troop of dachshunds trying to find the tiny pedals of tricycles. I collected myself like I was vying to be the last pawn shop in New Jersey. Now I am not even a whir of gnats on a dirt road, a threadbare cloud on a ridgeline, the steam riding off an old man stepping out of a sauna. Days nothing seems to tie me to me. The more I live, the more the rucksack lightens, the more I can't find myself in the mirror of the world, and roam storefronts as if I have misplaced myself. When I was a kid, I used to keep a Pringles can filled with volcano rocks someone once sold as Apache tears. One weird-ass way of marketing pain. Gone now is the name of the boy I bailed out of stealing CDs from Walmart for the girl he crushed on, which is not really a crime, I explained to the cops. The girl loved Stevie Nicks so much I found her stoned under blackberry bramble, listening to Landslide on a Walkman. Perhaps it matters to say they were Apache or Pueblo, Inde or Kewa, that they were minor thieves flung far from home. Perhaps all they wanted was the ground inside each other. But even as I say Landslide, Walkman, I feel the scree of words, the pawn shop emptying out. The things that made me are ether now, as clear as those who went and died and took what mattered. Bodies, a joke, a late meal that wove itself in the morning, as if they had packed for the afterlife. And empty and whole and empty, the air inside me tastes like leaving, and leaving tastes like rain that never comes, which I love like breath on a window, like someone taking some time, some pleasure, drawing a heart, a face. No wonder I marvel over the demo crew who are slaying each other. Fuckwad, lug nut, waste of skin. Cuts, we used to call them. Nicking wing, heel, gutting into laughter. Then tender, as one with angels or dogs, where the wound is transom. The words hold them to the ground, and I am whatever hovers when they go.
Beautiful.
Last poem, The Listening. Thank you again. You look like you've seen a ghost. He goes, yes. Yeah, I know. It's been a long time, We were inseparable for a number of years. I know, we'll talk about it, but it's not you, it's not me, it's just time. Yeah. The listening for Catherine. Barnett. Snow again. I can't hear it falling in birches, yard, garden beds, heady tufts and root down of winter carrots, though I stare out there as if listening to the making. The way a kid, I'd rise in the middle of night looking for my father, the house the usual dark I'd sleepwalk through. Eventually, someone would find me sitting on the living room floor, W-sitting, snow on television, or staring canvas blank out a window. Snowman, they'd call. Nudge me back. Silence cracking like a crocus. The reveal, all that breaking, a kiss. I don't know if I loved anything more. When my father died, a backhoe broke the sky open, which filled with crows, and the dusting coated the cars lining the cemetery road. Snow falling on my father's death day? A little much, even for me, so prone to melancholy, which is a way of sketching your loss. Years ago, I had a friend who used to say, love is a kind of opening. She had a freezer stashed with vodka and chocolate, a way of making me crash on her couch. My friend was talking about trees, what we know, what we feel, how they conspire each other. I was afraid my body would fly open, a blizzard of wings, and that if I gave up grieving, he'd die all over again, and I'd die without something to grieve. She must have known this too, how winter shuts a mouth down, then more mouth, more mouth. Some days, the light right, I walk an hour or so into a stand of birches, the space between trees, and it's like the trees pass through me, ghosts of my breath, my father, my friends sitting on the couch in her apartment, all there. I hear them talking and want to slip off my shoes. Snow, listening, the nerve to stay a while. It's exactly like she was saying.
Oh, it's truly wonderful to see Tom again and meet new people. But it feels, life pulls us in different directions, and this kind of event brings us back home, and I think that's great. I live north of the city, so coming here is kind of easy, but it's great to feel connected to everybody that's through this event, feeling connected through the word. So it's what poetry should do, make a house of words in which we dwell, and we should dwell among others. So.